Part 30. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womang. Chapter 291. Think about it again. The young master of the original demon sect came to rob his sect, but Dong Huang never showed up. Even when Suliang came out of seclusion and brazenly killed the young master and beat the elders violently, she never showed up. This thing is very strange. It was as if she was acquiescing to this happening and Suliang's subsequent actions. So, have you become a pawn? Thinking in his mind, Suliang blinked, not knowing what expression to make. Moreover, he had no idea what Dong Huang wanted to do. Squeak. Suliang opened the door and walked into the room. At a glance, he saw Qin Wanyu waiting for him uneasily. Seeing Suliang's return, Qin Wanyu immediately stood up with a breathtakingly beautiful smile on her face. "Husband, you are finally back. I have been waiting for you for a long time. There were no dangers along the way, and I finally came back safely." Suliang smiled and took a step forward. Immediately, Qin Wanyu threw herself into Suliang's arms, hugged Suliang tightly, and buried her head into Suliang's arms without saying a word, enjoying the familiar taste and the feeling of peace of mind. Suliang also hugged Qin Wanyu with his backhand and patted Qin Wanyu's back gently. The two of them hugged each other so affectionately. This scene was warm and sweet. After a while, Suliang patted Qin Wanyu's little head and said, "Okay, just give her a hug. You can't hold her all the time. It's been a long journey and I feel a little tired. You have to let me rest." After hearing this, Qin Wanyu immediately let go of Suliang's hand, and then pulled Suliang to the bed. Immediately afterwards, Qin Wanyu took off her shoes, sat on the bed, sat sideways with her legs together, pulled Suliang, sat beside her, and pressed Suliang's head on her lap. "Be good, husband, and rest." While gently stroking Suliang's hair, Qin Wanyu looked gentle and hummed a tune to help Suliang fall asleep. The headrest was soft and dense, and the fragrance lingered on the tip of his nose. Enjoying his graceful and gentle movements, Suliang felt that all the fatigue and tension before had disappeared. Slowly closing his eyes, Suliang fell into a deep sleep. He went out for an adventure and came back to take a nap. After Suliang woke up, he began to enjoy the real life of an emperor. In Yin Yang Dao sect, Qin Wanyu's care for Suliang was simply meticulous. Ha! Suliang stretched out, yawned, blinked at the sky outside, and then wanted to reach for the coat he took off. "It seems to be already night, and I asked you to sleep with me, but I am definitely not here either. Let's have dinner, let's go, I'll make you something delicious." However, before Suliang's hand touched the clothes, Qin Wanyu had already walked to Suliang's side. She was very familiar with it. She naturally picked up the clothes, walked around behind Suliang, and began to help Suliang change. Suliang blinked as he felt the soft and delicate body behind him, the delicate fragrance lingering on the tip of his nose, and the delicate white jade hands gently serving her. "You don't even have to get dressed yourself?" Hiss. I should say it or not, but this feeling, although it has an inexplicable sense of depravity and guilt, is very refreshing. After eating something casually, Qin Wanyu was one step ahead of Suliang, made an excuse, and returned to the room. After Suliang wandered back to the room, he was stunned when he looked at Qin Wanyu in the room. See. Qin Wanyu's hair is tied up at the moment, black framed glasses are worn on her face, her upper body is a white shirt, and she wears a hip-covering skirt that reaches her knees. Under the skirt, she has a pair of translucent black silk covering her plump legs. On her small feet, there is a pair of high heels. Holding a small wooden stick in her hand, Qin Wanyu stood in front of Suliang, with her legs slightly together. Her proud peak was wrapped in a shirt, but it made her taller and taller. The round and straight figure behind her was restrained by a hip-covering skirt, which made her figure even more upright. Classmate Suliang, you are late. Qin Wanyu made a stern look and tapped Suliang's head lightly with the wooden stick in her hand, but her voice was extremely gentle. This is the OL teacher outfit. Seeing his graceful appearance, wearing this outfit that he had never seen before, Suliang couldn't help but swallow, and his mood was a little ups and downs. Different from her sister's appearance in OL clothes, Qin Wanyu lacks the cool and graceful feeling, but has a bit more intellectuality, which is more in line with her current identity. To put it simply, each has his own strengths and weaknesses, and no one wins or loses. They are all rare and stunning in the world, but they have different temperaments. But apparently, Qin Wanyu's outfit has never been seen before, it's very fresh. Volume 1 # Chapter 268 It's only right for you man to bully me. Is Dong Huang a white-haired eldest sister? Seeing Suliang's stunned look, Qin Wanyu let out a chuckle, walked to Suliang's side, hugged Suliang, and asked happily, "Husband, I am concubine, does this outfit look good?" Suliang nodded firmly and praised, "It's beautiful." With a smile, Qin Wanyu smiled even more happily, "As long as your husband likes it." "Fortunately, I have the foresight to know that my husband likes this, so I made preparations in advance. I asked for this outfit from Sister Kinja. I'm determined." Suliang hugged Qin Wanyu with his backhand, walked to the bed in a few steps, and gently placed Qin Wanyu on the bed. Then, he leaned over and supported Qin Wanyu with both hands, looking at Qin Wanyu like this. Feeling the breath and warmth of Suliang close at hand, Qin Wanyu's eyes were hazy, and she stretched out her slender hand to caress Suliang's cheek, wanting to express her feelings. "Husband, thank you for being able to hide it from me, after deceiving me, and still believe in me. Thank you. I am willing to travel thousands of miles to Daozong and endure so many dangers and tortures for my sake. I have nothing to repay. I only hope to be by my husband's side forever. I will be happy and sad for my husband. As long as I can stay by my husband's side and look at him, I will be satisfied." "Fool." Suliang shook his head and laughed, gently tapped the tip of Qin Wanyu's nose, and leaned down. Early morning. Qin Wanyu got up early and tiptoed out of the room before Suliang woke up. As a qualified wife, Qin Wanyu feels that she must prepare breakfast for her king so that he can have a warm and loving breakfast as soon as he wakes up. But the imagination was good, but Qin Wanyu felt her current physical condition and felt that she was not qualified for this job. No way. Last night, after Suliang returned, Qin Wanyu's worries, concerns, guilt, and reluctance all turned into love, making her obsessed with Suliang. In just one night, Qin Wanyu didn't even remember that she carried her king, used various postures to harmonize yin and yang, went up and down the mountain, fainted and woke up several times. By the end, the entire sheet was soaked and there was no way to sleep on it. There was nothing I could do about it. Why did I like my king so much, and my king was so kind to me? When love reaches a deep level, it is already difficult to control yourself. To be honest, if it weren't for the fact that I was a little tired at the end, Qin Wanyu felt that she might still be swinging with her king. Just can't stop. Closing the door quietly, Qin Wanyu was about to turn around and walk towards the kitchen, but before she could take a step forward, she felt her body become weak and weak, her legs were trembling, and she could hardly stand. Is it really too intense? Qin Wanyu felt the fatigue in her body and bit her red lips, but in her mind, the scenes from last night appeared unconsciously. The feeling of holding your own king and rocking together, climbing to the top of the mountain together without stopping, but continuing to move forward, climbing several peaks in a row until the spring water gushes out from the top of the mountain. It's really a bit addictive. Your Majesty. Whispering softly, feeling the gurgling of the deep valley. Qin Wanyu's cheeks were flushed, her eyes were hazy and affectionate, and she had a happy smile on her face, looking very happy. It's not that Qin Wanyu is obsessed with him, It's just that person is his king, he loves him so much, and he treats him so well. No one can stop. Dragging his numb and weak body, Qin saw that it was still early, so he didn't rush to cook for his king, so he walked to the stone table in the courtyard and sat on the stone bench. Immediately, with her jade arms leaning on the stone table and her slender hands supporting her chin, Qin began to carefully reflect on everything she experienced last night. The feeling of joy became more and more obvious. But all of this was clearly seen by Dongjun, who came to see his best friend. Sitting next to Qin Wanyu, Dongjun looked at Qin Wanyu speechlessly. "Wanyu, are you okay? What's so good about a man? You've been bullied like this, why do you still look so happy?" Seeing how Qin Wanyu couldn't even stand steady and had to hold onto the wall to walk steadily, as if she had been bullied, Dongjun felt extremely speechless. Has his best friend fallen too far? But I didn't expect it. Hearing Dongjun's words, Qin Wanyu looked at her with a meaningful smile on her face and said softly, "You don't understand love. You have never had this kind of experience, so if you don't understand the goodness of a lover, you will naturally not understand why I love my husband so deeply." After hearing this, Dongjun subconsciously took a step back. Looking at his best friend's meaningful expression, he felt that he had been hit hard. "Qin Wanyu, I kindly comfort you, but you are here to show me your affection. What kind of peace of mind do you have?" At this moment, she felt that her heart was bleeding, pricked by her best friend's words. It can only be said that silent dog abuse is the most deadly. In the morning, Qin Wanyu went out for something, but Dongjun came directly to Qin Wanyu and Suliang's room. "Suliang." Dongjun sat next to Suliang, and then she bit her red lips lightly, her expression full of hesitation. After a while, she finally made up her mind, and her body began to slowly lean towards Suliang. Dongjun moved very quickly, and almost instantly, he leaned his soft and delicate body into Suliang's arms. How could Suliang have thought that his woman's best friend would do this to him? For a moment, he didn't react at all, so he didn't dodge. When Suliang reacted, Dongjun's jade hands were already placed on Suliang's waist, and he began to untie Suliang's belt. Scare. Suliang quickly stood up, took a few steps back, and looked at Dongjun in confusion. What do you want to do?" To be honest, there are many women in Suliang nowadays, but he has never seen anyone so proactive. It's okay to just take action when you come up. And Suliang thought to himself that he had only been in contact with Dongjun a few times. Why did she do this? It makes no sense at all. Why are you running? Dongjun puffed up his cheeks and looked at Suliang angrily. Do you think I want to be like this with you? You saved Wanyu before and were willing to take risks for Wanyu. I, Wanyu's good sister, naturally want to be grateful to you. Moreover, I see that Wanyu has been bullied by you today and is in trouble. As a good sister, I naturally have to help her share the pressure. What's wrong with this? Is there anything wrong? My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 292. Nothing is right, okay. Suliang was completely speechless. He just stepped aside and made a gesture of invitation. Miss Dongjun, please leave my place. To be honest, Dongjun is indeed mature and beautiful. To a certain extent, he is not much different from his own Wanyu. But it's not his own, and he will never be greedy for it. Among the people around Suliang now, which one didn't have a lot of experience with Suliang and made an agreement in the previous life? With such an emotional foundation, there will be stories that happen later. Although Suliang has many women around him, he still has a bottom line. No matter what, Suliang felt that he couldn't become a stallion. Seeing Suliang's firm refusal, Dongjun was stunned and felt frustrated. You dislike me. Dong Jun asked in disbelief. Whatever you think. Suliang shook his head, not intending to answer Dong Jun's words. You, Suliang, you are fine. Gritting his teeth and glaring at Suliang, Dong Jun stood up and ran out. Even though she was so stunningly beautiful, she had already taken the initiative so much that it was almost for nothing, yet she was still disliked. How could this be? Could it be that I am really so unattractive? Walking in the Yin-Yang Dao sect, Dong Jun's eyes were reddish, his mouth was pouted, he looked angry and aggrieved, and he was doubting his life. Suliang, since you bullied me, then I will go cry to your girlfriend. Thinking in his mind, Dong Jun walked around for a long time and finally found Qin Wanyu, who was walking towards his room. The moment I met Qin Wanyu, Dong Jun couldn't hold back any longer, tears instantly filled his eyes, he rushed forward, threw himself into Qin Wanyu's arms, and cried, Wanyu, woo woo woo, your man is bullying me, you must make the decision for me. Qin Wanyu looked at Dong Jun in surprise, how is it possible? My husband is such a nice person and he is usually reluctant to give us a bad look. How could he bully you? There must be some misunderstanding, or you have offended my husband. Hearing this, Dong Jun wanted to cry even more. Qin Wanyu, I am your best friend. Why did you not confirm my statement when I said that your man bullied me? Instead, you thought it was me who provoked your man. Break off the relationship, break up the relationship, okay. Shaking his head, Dong Jun continued to look aggrieved, no, it was your man who bullied me. I went to your man with good intentions before. I wanted to thank him for saving you before, and I also wanted to help you share some of the pressure. So, I wanted him to treat me like this. After all, I feel sorry for you when I see you can't even walk steadily this morning. But your man actually asked me to leave and despised me. You judge others. I am such a good person, and I let him do this and that without any regrets. I don't dislike him yet, but he actually dislikes me. Hearing this, Qin Wanyu was immediately speechless. Good guy, you still have the nerve to come to me and cry and complain? Do you know that you almost let my man eat it secretly? Just like this, do you still have the nerve to come back and say it? Get out of here, okay? You are trying to seduce my man like this, we don't even have to be sisters. Goodbye, friends. Counting the time, he stayed in Yin-Yang Daozong for a few days. He saw that Dong Huang had no other matters to come to him, and he had indeed completed what he had promised Dong Huang. Then, Suliang then approached Dong Huang, planning to say goodbye and return to Daxia. After all, his girlfriend, sister, master, and Chao Ji are all waiting in Daxia, worrying about him. Before leaving, Suliang visited Dong Huang at his door according to the location he found out. Here you come. I've been waiting for you for a long time. A white-haired beauty sat at the table in the courtyard, looked at Suliang who walked in, and said calmly. Sister Miu has a beautiful face, an almost perfect figure, a majestic peak, a small and round curve behind her back, a flat belly, long and smooth legs, petite and cute feet, and paired with a head of white hair, she looks amazing. People's hearts are pounding. However, under the calm expression of this beautiful lady, there is a deep loneliness hidden. Coupled with her white hair shawl and Gu Jing's unwavering eyes, a feeling of loneliness and desolation comes to my face, making me feel people instantly feel heavy-hearted. Looking at Sister Miu who was waiting for him with some surprise, Suliang asked tentatively, Are you, Dong Huang? Sister Miu said calmly, If you think I am, I am. Hearing this, Suliang was stunned and subconsciously scratched his head. As expected of you, Riddler Dong Huang. With such an ambiguous answer, are you starting to play philosophy with me? Co-author, you have already let me see your face, but you still don't want to reveal your identity to me? Why bother? Sit down. Dong Huang nodded at the seat next to him, placed a purple clay teacup on the stone table in front of the seat, and then poured half a cup of tea. Su Liang followed the good advice and walked over. Instantly, he smelled the refreshing aroma of tea that made people feel refreshed and clear-headed. Looking curiously at the tea in the cup in front of him, Su Liang said, "This tea is extraordinary. The tea has a refreshing fragrance." The most important thing is that Su Liang just smelled it and felt that his mind was clear and his body was in good health. It seemed that his understanding had been improved. Everything that I couldn't figure out before now has the answer, and the minor ailments that were accumulated in the body before are also tending to heal. Kangtian ancient deity, speaking of it, is indeed a rare thing. Dong Huang put down the teapot and introduced, "This is ancient tea that has been extinct for thousands of years. Eating it can increase some understanding, stabilize cultivation, and help people overcome obstacles. The effect cannot be said to be powerful. Thousands of years ago, this tea had to be grown in places with extremely harsh conditions, so its quantity was scarce. And because of its powerful effect, it attracted immortal cultivators to flock to it, and it is understandable that it became extinct. At that time, there were not many Kangtian ancient deities left in existence." Hearing this, Su Liang asked with some confusion, "Since there is not much left, why are you willing to give me a drink?" "It's just reciprocity." Dong Huang said matter-of-factly, "This can be regarded as a gift for your help this time. Since you have taken such a big risk, I cannot be stingy." "Fine." Su Liang nodded and agreed with Dong Huang's words. Immediately, picking up the teacup, Su Liang sipped the tea, savoring the leisurely fragrance of the tea. The ancient road still existed. He felt that his mind was getting clearer and the spiritual energy in his body was moving more smoothly. Not long. With the integration of the energy in the Kangtian ancient deity, Su Liang's cultivation level that had just broken through to immortality was finally stabilized. Not only that, taking advantage of the improvement in understanding brought by Kangtian ancient deity, Su Liang continued to read through his own martial arts, comprehended it again, integrated it, used it for his own purposes, and strengthened himself. After a while. Volume 1 Chapter 269, The Interest of the Enchantress, the Queen Mother who is extremely happy and sad. Su Liang suddenly opened his eyes, and two frightening rays of light flashed from Su Liang's eyes. The power of Emperor Luo appeared, as if the mountains and the earth were about to collapse, and the rivers flowed backwards. Even the sky and the earth changed their colors and darkened. For a moment. Click. There was a sound of the chain breaking, and Su Liang's imperial falling eyes directly broke the second level. The power of the sky rose from Su Liang's body, and the extremely powerful and majestic force seemed to be like the ancient king coming to the world to dominate the world and dominate the world. Everyone within 100 miles could not help but kneel down in the direction of Su Liang, with their faces full of respect. Even Dong Huang, who was beside Su Liang, was inevitably a little affected. Closing his eyes again, Su Liang showed a smile on his lips. This time, the Emperor Luo's double eyes were unsealed, and he actually came with his own eye-spelling killer move. It can be said that his strength has increased a lot. Kangtian Ancient Road Tea, good stuff. After Su Liang left, Dong Huang sat there for a long time before he ordered someone to call his apprentice. Master, what are you asking me to do?" A sweet and charming voice sounded, and along with the sound of bells, a girl jumped up and walked in. The girl has a beautiful face, but she has a charming appearance. A tube top wraps up her proud and growing peak, leaving her flat body exposed. Her lower body looks like a long skirt, but it is more like a gauze tied around the waist. Between them, it extends diagonally. Although it is indeed wrapped up and down, the slender and beautiful legs will be exposed when walking, but they will not be exposed too much, giving people a mysterious beauty that seems to be absent. Further down, a pair of bare feet are small, white, and cute, but there are bells tied to the ankles, which jingle as they walk. This kind of clothing is extremely bold and astringent. Such bold and astringent clothes, coupled with the girl's charming face and sweet voice, she is a charming enchantress. This woman is none other than Dong Wang's disciple, Tao Yao. Master, in the past few days, you haven't asked your disciple to come to see you. Are you in love with someone else and have a new disciple? While talking, Tao Yao jumped up to Dong Huang's side, lying on Dong Huang's back, her red lips slightly pouting, looking charming. Shaking his head, Dong Huang ignored his apprentice and said directly, "Pack up your things and head to Daxia, go to the young man named Sul Yang, pay attention to him, and get close to him." "Master, why are you paying so much attention to that boy?" Tao Yao asked in confusion, feeling a little jealous of her master's attention to Sul Yang. "Originally, in my heart, my master was indifferent to the common people and had no feelings. How could he be so attentive to a young man? He even wanted to send his precious disciple out to get close to him. Why should he? You don't need to ask why, just do it." Dong Huang shook his head and had no intention of explaining to his apprentice. Hearing this, Tao Yao pouted in dissatisfaction, spit out her tongue and made a face, but she spoke very boldly, "Master has an order, and all disciples dare not disobey it. Therefore, that Sul Yang, the disciple has misbehaved, doesn't it matter?" Faced with his disciple's bold speech, Dong Huang just smiled and said nothing. The original demon sect. My brother was killed. Mako stood outside the door, his hands behind his back, his aura as deep as a prison, but with a ruthless look, listening to the report from his subordinates. "Exactly," the subordinate said cautiously. After inquiring by his subordinates, the young master went to Yin Yang Dao sect just for a woman named Qin Wanyu. He wanted to take the woman away directly, but he did not expect that the woman's man named Su the Good Boy can be killed with 3 moves. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 293. Not even the Demon Lord's phantom can make Sul Yang stop. So what? Mako asked rhetorically. So. The subordinate's forehead was covered with cold sweat at the moment, but he didn't even dare to wipe it. He just swallowed hard and then continued, "The mission of the Demon Lord is to kill Sul Yang." At this moment, even though he was just reporting the news, he was extremely scared in his heart. I can't tolerate him not being afraid. The devil in front of him is a fighting maniac who possesses Taishi's demon body, received the true inheritance of the Demon Lord, and entered the realm of immortality 3 years ago. Until now, I still don't know how powerful his cultivation is. Motzi has always been cold-blooded and ruthless. He is respectfully called Motzi by the devil. He has earned this reputation bit by bit. Who can not be afraid of him? When he heard his subordinate's words, Motzi snorted coldly, "Humph, he has no knowledge and skills. He only knows how to hunt for women, but he has never practiced properly. Now that something has happened, he still wants me, his brother, to deal with the aftermath for him." What he said was full of contempt for his younger brother's desire to pursue beauty. He didn't want to practice, but he hunted for women all day long, acted domineeringly, but had no strong cultivation to support him. He only knew that relying on the reputation of the demon sect and acting like this would lead to overturning sooner or later. Demon Zi did not feel any surprise about the death of his brother. Such a good-for-nothing brother is of no use at all. He will only cause chaos and cause trouble. If he dies, he will die. But my brother can ignore it, but this task still needs to be carried out. You go back to the Demon Lord and tell me that I will take over this task. Mako said, with an extremely cold and cruel smile on his face. Then Suliang killed my incompetent brother with 3 moves, and dared to break the phantom of the Demon King. It is said that he fought against the elders of Yin-Yang Dao sect with one enemy against many. Although all the elders of the Yin-Yang Dao sect are useless, together they are quite powerful. Being able to do this, Suliang is indeed very powerful. Thinking in his mind, Motzi felt a desire for Suliang's strength. For Motzi, killing strong men should bring him pleasure. This opportunity should not be missed. Daxia, in Qin Benjao and Suliang's mansion. Entering the mansion, Suliang looked at the familiar scenery around him and sighed slightly. Finally back. This time, the Yin-Yang Dao sect and his party, although everything was near miss, but after all, they experienced a lot. It always makes people feel like they are in another world. He continued to lead Qin Wanyu towards the inner courtyard. The moment Suliang stepped into the inner courtyard, all the girls who had sensed Suliang's aura came forward to greet him. Suliang. Qin Benjao took small steps and came to Suliang in a few steps. She threw herself into Suliang's arms and hugged Suliang tightly. Feeling the familiar and stable atmosphere that she had not seen for a long time, she was reluctant to raise her head for a long time. Tan Qinja, Wan Qing, and Ying Kaoch, although they missed the opportunity to hug Suliang, they still stood behind and looked at Suliang lovingly. In the past few days, Suliang has been away, and they have been worried in their hearts. This has nothing to do with whether they trust Suliang or not. After all, Suliang was invited by the mysterious Dong Huang, whose purpose was unknown, so they should naturally be worried. Patting Qin Benjao, Suliang said with a smile, Okay, let's go inside first. We will have plenty of time to hug in the future. Qin Benjao nodded, then let go of her man, but still held Suliang's hand, and led Suliang and the girls back to the house. Just as they sat down, Qin Benjao, Tan Qinja, and Wan Qing took up the positions next to Suliang perfectly, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the right. Suliang, what have you experienced in Yin-Yang Dao sect these days? Qin Benjao sat on her husband's lap, hugged her husband's neck, and asked curiously. Tan Qinja and Wan Qing on the side also cast curious eyes after hearing this. Well, it's a long story. Suliang held his girlfriend's small and erect body behind him, feeling the warm and fragrant fragrance of the delicate body in his arms, and began to talk about his experiences in the past few days with a smile. Ying Kaoch, who didn't grab the seat, stood aside and listened happily. In fact, it doesn't matter what Suliang is talking about. What they want is just to look at their beloved, listen to his voice, and feel his presence. And this time. However, Qin Wanyu came close to Ying Kaoch and began to bully her secretly, showing off to Ying Kaoch, Kaoch, you know, I have been alone with my husband these past few days, but it's very comfortable. My husband has been with me day and night. My husband and I not only visited the Yin-Yang Taoist sect together and held hands to practice at the Lianji Tao Pagoda, but we also swayed with my husband until dawn several times. In short, I'm just showing off that I did this and that with Suliang. I did it, but you didn't. Looking at Qin Wanyu's proud and provocative attitude, she clearly looks like a villain who has succeeded. But Ying Kaoch was so angry that he felt envious in his heart. However, soon, Ying Kaoch lost his anger. Just because, following Qin Wanyu's narration, not only Ying Kaoch, but also Qin Benjao, Tan Qinja, and Wan Qing all felt so sad that they got involved with evil intentions. This wave has caused the Queen Mother to arouse public anger and spread hatred like crazy. Sisters, why are you looking at me like this? Looking at Qin Benjao, Tan Qinja, and Wan Qing's malicious and slightly fierce eyes, Qin Wanyu asked in confusion. She really couldn't figure it out. She was just bullying her good daughter, so why did she offend her sisters? This shouldn't be right. At this moment, Qin Wanyu could not have imagined that the content she and Ying Kao showed off would successfully irritate Qin Benjao, Tan Kinja, and Wan Xing, and accidentally arouse hatred among the three of them. After all, in their opinion, why do you want to travel with my man, fight until dawn, enjoy my man's favor all to yourself, and live a very nourishing life every day, but we have to worry about you at home? Do you know that we also really want to be alone with Mr. Lang? It's sour, it's really sour. Then, what will happen if you offend the head of the family, the eldest sister, and the thickest thigh? In short, Qin Wanyu suffered a complete disaster. Elegant. Tan Kinja came to Qin Wanyu's side and took Qin Wanyu's arm abruptly. Volume 1 Picture 270, The Tragic Shura Field of Husband Stealing, The Demon Girl Attacks. Since you have been alone with Liang for so long, you must have had enough. Why don't you stay away from Liang for a while? On the other side, Wan Xing nodded with a look of approval, rarely standing on the same side as her niece, and held up Qin Wanyu's other arm, just in time. While you are away from your good disciple, just come with us, we have something important to tell you. When things developed to this point, Qin Wanyu finally came to her senses. How could she not know where she had angered these two people? Sisters, please spare your lives. Qin Wanyu immediately screamed, looking at the two ferocious sisters. Tears were about to fall, and she looked like she was crying. I know I was wrong, I don't dare to do it anymore, two sisters, just spare me. The Lun family didn't do it on purpose. But begging for mercy is useless. Then, Suliang was confused, watching his Wanyu being dragged away by his sister and master, screaming and getting further and further away, but he didn't dare to stop him. Not long after, from another room not far away, Qin Wanyu's shrill screams and begging for mercy could be heard. Those who heard it were sad, and those who saw it shed tears. Gradually, Qin Wanyu's voice gradually became quieter, but Suliang felt that it was not because his sister and master had let her go, but because they had used sound isolation techniques. Qin Wanyu was being taught a lesson, and Suliang, Qin Benjao, and Ying Kaoj were naturally left in the room. The two sisters blinked and moved quickly, one to the left and the other to the right, and naturally occupied Suliang. He, Sulang, he. Holding her husband's arm, Qin Benjao smiled and was very happy. Finally, I can conquer the husband. On the other side, Ying Kaoj held Suliang's other arm and also smiled. Lang Jun, he, master. I accidentally said what I was thinking, but forget it, he is my husband anyway, there is nothing to be afraid of. The little head was resting on Suliang's shoulder. The two sisters were talking to Suliang, with happy and joyful smiles on their faces. It's been a long time since my two sisters occupied and dated my husband. But so happy. It's a pity that there is not enough time, otherwise, it would be best to pin Lang Jun on the bed, gallop the horse, and fight until dawn. Yes, it's still daytime, but who says we can't start from daytime and continue the decisive battle until dawn the next day? That night, after dinner, the girls and Suliang gathered together, chatting happily after a long absence. However, everyone else was sitting, but Qin Wanyu was the only one walking back and forth among the crowd, like a little maid, obediently serving everyone around. Sister Wanqing, your tea. Qin Wanyu poured a cup of tea for Wan Xing and handed it to her with respectful hands. Wan Xing took the cup and took a sip, then put the cup aside and said in a calm voice, it's a bit cold. I'm going to prepare some hot food for you right now. Qin Wanyu's delicate body trembled slightly, and she quickly turned around and left, planning to prepare hot water. But at this moment, Tan Kinja suddenly said, Wanyu, you only know how to pour tea for your aunt, but you don't care about your sister. Hearing this, Qin Wanyu stopped, turned around quickly, came to Tan Kinja, poured a cup of tea and served it respectfully. Taking a sip, Tan Kinja shook her head. It's hot. Qin Wanyu's delicate body trembled again, and she wanted to cry but had no tears. For the same pot of tea, one says it's hot and the other says it's cold. Isn't this embarrassing? What do you want others to do? Finally, Qin Wanyu mixed the tea and served it respectfully. After making both of them satisfied, she stepped back behind them and stood respectfully. Seeing Qin Wanyu busy and obediently serving her, her delicate body trembling slightly at the mention of her name, Suliang's mouth twitched. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 294. My Wanyu has obviously been taught a hard lesson. Look, she doesn't dare to sit down when she doesn't have to serve. What does this mean? Afraid of being taught a lesson. Should I say it or not, my sister and master are really ruthless. After chatting for a while, Wan Qing suddenly said, "My dear disciple, master's legs are a little sore. Come and give master a massage." "Yes, master." Suliang quickly stood up, walked to Wan Qing, knelt down, put his hands on the master's beautiful black legs, and massaged them gently. The beautiful legs are slender but plump. They already have a comfortable voluptuous feel, but the voluptuousness also has a little elasticity. Now they are wrapped in black silk, the voluptuousness is not lost, and the elasticity is even greater, coupled with the unique silkiness of black silk. Feel. This kind of feel is so comfortable, isn't it? Suliang felt that he would never get tired of playing with his master's beautiful legs for a year. Of course, it is impossible to challenge the master and rebel against the disciple. This matter should be considered in the long run. During the massage, Suliang was also discussing the experience of this trip with his master. Especially the part about the young master of the original demon sect. At that time, I just felt angry in my heart, so I killed the man regardless. Afterwards, I found out that the man was the young master of the original demon sect, but I didn't feel any regret or fear. Suliang said with a smile, "It's just that the original demon sect has a deep foundation and strong strength after all. This is always troublesome. Master, how do you think this matter can be solved?" Hearing this, Wan Qing shook her head and didn't mind at all. "It doesn't matter, a mere young master of the primitive demon sect dares to take advantage of our family members, so just kill him well. Even if the original demon sect wants to cause trouble for us, we are not afraid. You have my master to support you. When the time comes, even if the demon sect comes, I will fight him back." Hearing Wan Qing's words, Suliang smiled and said, "Thank you so much, master." As expected, master is the strongest. Wan Qing's compliments from her apprentice immediately made Wan Qing happy and satisfied. He, master praised me." After everyone finished chatting, they dispersed. However, Tan Kinja took the opportunity to monopolize Suliang and pulled Suliang into her room. Winning Kaoj, Qin Wanyu and the others naturally did not dare to argue with Tan Kinja. Wan Qing had also enjoyed the service of her apprentice, so she would not compete with her niece for the time being. But Qin Benjao is not happy anymore. "I have been looking forward to the return of my husband for many days. My husband finally came back, but he was taken away by his master? Can this be tolerated? Does master still take him as the main palace seriously? No, I have to settle the score with the master. I have to get Lang Jun back no matter what." Lang Jun finally came back, but he can't monopolize it. How can this be done? Then Qin Benjao decisively came to visit. In the room. "Liang, you sit down first." Tan Kinja pressed Suliang on the chair with a charming smile on her face. "Sister, go and clean the bed, and then we can rest." Hearing this and looking at his sister's charming look, Suliang couldn't help but swallow, wondering if he would have time to sleep tonight. Before, I fought with my sister Wanyu until dawn every day. Now that I'm back, I have to fight with my sister and girlfriend all night long. Even the Hunyuan pure Yang Dao body cannot withstand such high-intensity loss. And just then, boom! The door of the room was suddenly kicked open. Qin Benjao walked in with small steps and stood in front of her master, with her hands on her hips and a menacing look. Master, how can you occupy Sulang? This is too much, it's unreasonable. Sulang just came back today, we have to let him rest. Facing the aggressive disciple who looked like he was looking for trouble, Tan Kinja looked at her with a half-smile, without the slightest hint of fear. According to what you said, is it most appropriate for a Liang to go to your place? Of course. Qin Benjao nodded, as if taking it for granted. After all, I am not as lacking in love as master. Even if I pester Sulang, I will definitely be restrained. Hearing this, Tan Kinja's face immediately darkened. I am a traitor, I really want to make myself angry to death. Snapped. Tan Kinja decisively gave her apprentice a violent shudder, turned around and hugged her younger brother, squeezing her neck. If you don't give me, I won't give you. Hurry up and leave. A Liang is your teacher tonight. Also, you dare to arrange it as a teacher like this. It seems that it's time for me to teach you some lessons. See this. Qin Benjao was only handsome for 3 seconds, and the aggressive energy he had just lost immediately. He was intimidated, shrinking his neck and pouting, I don't care, master, just give Sulang to others. No. Tan Kinja turned her head and looked like she wouldn't give up even if she was beaten to death. Instead, she hugged Sulang tighter. Looking helplessly at her master hugging her man and not letting him go, Qin Benjao moved forward, pulled her master's sleeves, shook her head, and said in a soft voice, Master, I also miss Su. It's been a long time, please give it to me tonight, I beg you. While speaking, Qin Benjao pouted, her eyes were slightly red, and she looked aggrieved and tearful. Coupled with this soft and touching voice, she was very cute. Seeing his apprentice's appearance, even Tan Kinja couldn't help but his eyes were shining brightly, and she simply bullied her even more cheerfully. She directly took action, pinched her apprentice's cheeks, and pulled them to both sides. Humph, I'm a master. Just don't give it, just give it a little bit and see what you can do. Master. Qin Benjao said in an unclear voice, almost crying after being bullied by her master. Looking at this scene, Suliang rubbed his forehead and felt a headache. Is there any elder sister who bullies her apprentice like this? What a sin! In the morning, Suliang and the girls all gathered in the courtyard of the mansion, sitting and basking in the sun, chatting casually, and enjoying the quiet and warm atmosphere. At this time, but a young girl came in, looked at everyone in the yard curiously, and asked timidly, Excuse me, Qin Wanyu, is senior sister Qin here? Suliang was stunned for a moment, then turned to look at the girl. What do you want from Wanyu? The girl in front of her was stunningly beautiful, pure, and quite appealing to the eye. My name is Tao Yao Yao. I am a disciple of the Yin Yang Dao section. My master is the Taoist master Dong Huang. Disciple of Dong Huang? Suliang raised his eyebrows and stood up to greet him. It turns out he is a disciple of senior Dong Huang. Come in quickly. Wanyu will be here soon. As he spoke, Suliang had doubts in his mind. A disciple of Dong Huang. I just came back from Yin Yang Dao sect, and Dong Huang's disciples came to my door. Isn't this a little strange? I don't know what the purpose of this Tao Yao Yao is. Yes. Hearing Suliang's words, Tao Yao Yao smiled happily, followed Suliang in quickly, and stood in front of everyone. At this moment, she was indeed as pure as everyone could see, but her charming and seductive side was hidden. Seniors, hello, senior brothers and sisters. Tao Yao Yao generously bowed to Tan Kinja, Wan Qing, Qin Benjao, and Suliang, and then said, I was appointed by the master to train, but, this is also the first time that Yao Yao has left the sect and the master. Your Majesty, I didn't know what to do at the moment, and I had no friends, so I thought of senior sister Qin and came here. If it has brought any trouble to you seniors, brothers, and sisters, Yao Yao would like to apologize. It doesn't matter. Suliang shook his head and didn't care about this at all. He was about to say something when he saw Qin Wanyu and Yang Kaoj walking in from the door. He pointed at them and said, Wanyu is here. What's the matter? You and Yang Kaoj just say it. Hearing this, Tao Yao Yao immediately turned her head. The moment she saw Qin Wanyu, she showed a look of joy. She ran over in a few steps, threw herself into Qin Wanyu's arms, and hugged her tightly. Qin Wanyu senior sister, Yao Yao finally found you. Immediately afterwards, Tao Yao Yao pretended to have a good relationship with Qin Wanyu and said with a smile, senior sister returned to the sect a few days ago, and Yao Yao happened to be in seclusion, so I didn't see her. Now that Yao Yao has time to leave the sect, she will come to see senior sister immediately. La. I haven't seen you for many years. Yao Yao misses my senior sister so much. Senior sister, I have been assigned by my master to experience the world, but I don't know what to do. Why don't you, senior sister, take Yao Yao in for a few days and give her some guidance? Seeing Tao Yao Yao's appearance, Suliang and others all laughed unconsciously. At this moment, Tao Yao Yao feels like the little sister next door? Kind, pure, cute, ignorant of worldly affairs, but lively and optimistic. But Qin Wanyu didn't want to agree to Tao Yao Yao's words. After all, Suliang and others didn't know what Tao Yao Yao was like, but Qin Wanyu had been in Yin Yang Dao sect for so many years, how could she not know Tao Yao Yao's authenticity? What a girl next door, what a pure and cute girl, this girl is clearly a little witch. In Qin Wanyu's memory, the girl named Tao Yao Yao, a disciple of her Taoist master, was truly worthy of the name of a witch. At a young age, she was so charming that she captivated countless disciples of the Yin Yang Dao sect, and countless disciples were beaten to death by her, yet they did not resent or blame her at all. It can be said that if Dong Huang hadn't been pressing down on him, Tao Yao Yao alone would have been able to turn the Yin Yang Dao sect upside down. Although Qin Wanyu was not molested by Tao Yao Yao still had a reputation for being evil. And Volume 1 Chapter 271 The little demon girl didn't know she had fallen into the wolf's den. Qin Wanyu had seen the miserable appearance of the people she manipulated more than once, so she naturally didn't have a good impression of Tao Yao Yao. And now, this witch that even the Yin Yang Dao sect could barely suppress came to his home? Maybe, before 2 days have passed, my house will already be in a mess. How can this be done? Thinking in her heart, Qin Wanyu just wanted to throw Tao Yao Yao out on the spot, not even wanting to give Dong Huang face. Dong Huang? Taoist? What the hell is that? How could it be more important to have your own king? However, Tao Yao Yao looked at Qin Wanyu's ever-changing expression, but she immediately knew Qin Wanyu's thoughts. With a malicious smile on her face, Tao Yao Yao came close to Qin Wanyu's ear. Her voice was so low that only the two of them could hear it, and she threatened quietly, Senior sister Qin, Yao Yao is here to join senior sister. How can senior sister be willing to kick someone out? If senior sister really does this, Yao Yao will be so sad that she doesn't know what she will do. Senior sister, you don't want your man to suffer, right? Hiss. Hearing this, Qin Wanyu secretly took a breath of air and her heart skipped a beat. It's over, now I'm really in trouble. How can this little girl be so smart? She just thought about it, but she didn't even say a word. She actually knew what she was thinking? Sure enough, the little witch is indeed a little witch. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 295. According to her words, if she really kicked her out, she would definitely attack her king. Although her king's city mind would definitely not suffer at the hands of this girl, but what if? Just in case. After all, my king is so gentle and kind. There is no other way, just let her stay, at most, keep an eye on her and don't let this girl do anything too extreme. After thinking about it and being threatened, Qin Wanyu reluctantly nodded and said, "Okay, you can stay, but you'd better not do anything excessive." "That's natural." Tao Yao Yao said with a smile. Yao 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 has many private things and doesn't want others to know, so she asked senior sister to help hide them. Qin Wanyu nodded feebly, agreed, and chose to help Tao Yao Yao hide it. How could she not know what this girl wanted her to hide? Isn't it just her witch-like character? That's all. For the sake of your majesty, if you conceal it, you should conceal it. It shouldn't be anything big, right? Your majesty, I'm sorry, I promised not to hide anything from you before, but now I have to hide it again. Your majesty, you must believe in me. I really have no choice but to do it for your own good. While Qin Wanyu was talking to Tao Yao Yao, Suliang had been observing Tao Yao Yao. After all, although Tao Yao Yao is a disciple of Dong Huang, she still looks like an innocent girl, the sister next door, but after all, she suddenly appeared without knowing the purpose, so she must be a little on guard. Soon, Suliang confirmed his defense. I saw. When Tao Yao Yao was talking to Qin Wanyu, she would look in the direction of Suliang from time to time. An inexplicable smile appeared on her pretending to be innocent face, which made people feel cold all over, as if it's like being targeted by something. And while the two were talking, Suliang could detect the sparkle in Tao Yao Yao's beautiful eyes from time to time. This feeling was not something that an innocent girl next door who was inexperienced in the world could have. This Tao Yao Yao looks innocent and cute, but due to all the details, she doesn't look innocent at all. What's more, Tao Yao Yao is still the disciple of Dong Huang. Suliang was indeed familiar with Dong Huang, but when he was in Yin Yang Dao sect, Dong Huang arranged a backhand move for Suliang, forcing Suliang to become a chess piece. With such a layout of abilities, Dong Huang sent his disciples to Daxia without any special purpose. Suliang didn't believe it at all. Suliang pursed his lips lightly, and his brows soon relaxed. He was full of doubts about the sudden appearance of Tao Yao Yao, and he never really felt relieved at all. But after all, this is in my own home, with my own master and my sister in charge. Each of them has a higher rank than the other, so I am worried that Tao Yao Yao will cause some trouble. In this way, there is nothing to worry about. And this time, Tao Yao Yao had also finished chatting with Qin Wanyu, and then she jumped up to Suliang and looked at Suliang curiously. After a while, Tao Yao Yao showed a sweet smile on her face, her beautiful eyes were smiling crookedly, very cute, and she began to greet Suliang, "Little brother, you are brother Suliang, right? These days, people always listen to master talking about you. Hey, my name is Tao Yao Yao, and I have come to join senior sister Qin. Senior sister Qin has promised to let me live with my little brother. Please take care of me in the future." The words fell. Tao Yao Yao took a step forward, stood on her tiptoes, opened her arms, and hugged Suliang tightly. Moment. With Tao Yao Yao's embrace and strength, the pair of proud peaks on her chest that were still growing were squeezed tightly against Suliang's body. As her strength gradually increased, they gradually deformed and became closer to each other. The shape of Suliang. The girl's proud peak is upright, not soft enough, but more than elastic. Compared with the mature charm, the feel is different, but each has its own perfection. Especially at this time, the fierce pressure makes Suliang feel different from his own sister and Wanyu's alternative comfort. However, well, it's just not big enough. Suliang murmured to himself and glanced down subconsciously, feeling that Dao Yao's proud peak was not as majestic as his girlfriend's. However, this is understandable. After all, his girlfriend has been eaten by him countless times, so there should be some growth. Tao Yao is still a girl at the moment and there is always room for growth. However, Suliang didn't know that Tao Yao felt bad after hearing Suliang's muttering. Still, not big enough? Tao Yao subconsciously lowered her head and glanced at the top of her proud peak. She felt that this scale was not bad, right? Among his peers, he is pretty good, right? But when she looked around, she saw that even Qin Benjao and Yang Kaoj, who were closest in age to her, surpassed her in size. She seemed to feel that Suliang was right. It seems that your own is really not big enough. Thinking in her heart, Tao Yao was a little doubtful about life. Come on, eat more. At the dinner, Tan Kinja picked up a chopstick full of vegetables and put them into the peach bowl with a smile on her face. At the same time, Wan Qing also looked at Tao Yao. Although his expression was calm, his words were filled with enthusiasm. Volume 1 Chapter 272, The tea art is full, sister, don't you feel aggrieved? After all, Daxia is a secular dynasty, and there are few foods with sufficient spiritual energy in the section. Therefore, I went out to find these things in the afternoon. They are of good quality and can be eaten. Hearing this, Tao Yao smiled sweetly and said, Thank you two seniors. Hearing this, Wan Qing shook her head and said matter-of-factly, since you are here to seek refuge with Wan Yu, you are still a guest of my Su family, and we must be well entertained. It's just that the conditions here are indeed not as good as those of the sect, so you should be more patient. That's enough. Tao Yao smiled sweetly again, looking touched. The seniors are so busy working for this junior is really touched. Although I don't know whether what Tao Yao said is true or not, Suliang and the other girls did go a lot for Tao Yao. After all, no matter what purpose Tao Yao came with, she was still a guest after all. Since she was a guest, of course she had to treat her well. When treating guests, you must be enthusiastic and never be negligent. Make your guests feel at home. This is the way the Su family treats guests. Then, starting in the afternoon, Wan Qing and Tan Kinja went out to a nearby sect to exchange for some spiritual food. Yang Kaoj and Qin Wanyu ordered their men to send all kinds of good things from the secular world for Tao Yao to use. Qin Benjao kept chatting and playing with Tao Yao. As for Suliang, after Tan Kinja and Wan Qing came back, he had been busy in the kitchen, making a table full of delicacies for the dinner. They treated Tao Yao, Suliang, and the other girls with the utmost enthusiasm and kindness. Even Tao Yao may not be treated so warmly in the Yin-Yang Dao sect. However, facing the girls who treated her so well, Tao Yao was constantly touching them at the dinner table. I saw. After serving Tao Yao, Tan Kinja smiled tenderly and put the best things into Suliang's bowl. Liang, I have been busy all afternoon. Thank you for your hard work. Please eat more. Wan Qing glanced at Tan Kinja, then picked up something from another plate and put it into Suliang's bowl. Good disciple, eat quickly. This is what my master found specially for you. After you eat it, you can warm it up, nourish your meridians and consolidate your cultivation, which is most suitable for you now. Hey. Qin Benjao chuckled and nodded seriously, that's right, Suliang, eat quickly. Once you have warmed up your meridians and consolidated your cultivation, we will go back and practice together in the evening. Hearing Qin Benjao's words, Qin Wanyu and Yang Kaoj raised their heads at the same time, looking at Suliang expectantly. Husband, Mr. Lang, do you want to stay in my palace for a day tomorrow? The words fell. Without waiting for Suliang to reply, the two of them looked at each other tit for tat and said in unison, you should let your husband go to my palace first. From the looks of it, he seemed to want to fight over this matter. Seeing that the goddesses had different expressions and behaviors, but their words and deeds all revolved around Suliang's actions, Tao Yaoyao clicked her tongue. These people all seem to be extremely talented and charming, but why do they all have such deep feelings for Suliang? Just a man, what's so good about him? Huh, what a depravity. Disappointment. In Tao Yaoyao's heart, she looked down upon Qin Benjiao and others for their deep love for Suliang. After the dinner, Tao Yaoyao returned to her room and began to seriously think about her green tea plan. Of course she didn't use green tea to drive away the girls and monopolize Suliang. The reason why she had this green tea plan was because she wanted to spoil the young man that Master admired. Start with Suliang. Tao Yaoyao thought, but quickly shook her head. It's not right, it's not right. It looks like those women are very affectionate towards him and don't care about each other's existence at all. It's obvious that they don't care about one more person. No matter what I do, I'm afraid it won't make those women think anything. So, the easiest thing to do is undoubtedly start with the people around Suliang. Muttering to herself, Tao Yaoyao was actually eyeing Qin Benjiao and others. And immediately, Tao Yaoyao stood up again and began to seriously think about the first target. The head of Tan Kinja and Wangking sect must not be fooled. The Empress of Yingkao's country must have some palaces, let alone Qin Wanyu. With her understanding of herself, how could she be easily fooled? So, that naturally stupid fairy Qin Benjiao is his primary target. After thinking about this, Tao Yaoyao showed a malicious smile. On the other side, Qin Benjiao had no idea that she was being targeted by a witch, and was happily trying to snatch her boyfriend away from her master. Qin Benjiao is in danger. The next day, after breakfast, Tao Yaoyao came to Suliang and Qin Benjiao's room. Seeing that Suliang was not in the room, she walked in with a sweet smile on her face. Hey, Yaoyao. Qin Benjiao blinked and looked at Tao Yaoyao in surprise. Sit down, why are you here? Yesterday afternoon, Qin Benjiao chatted with Tao Yaoyao all afternoon. Because they were close in age, the two of them had a good conversation. Now, they have a good relationship. I'm just bored in the house, so I came to Benjiao to chat with you. Tao Yaoyao took advantage of the situation and sat down, with a smile on her face that was sweet to the core. Benjiao, yesterday you and I sisters had a very happy chat, and in the house, you and I are the closest in age. How about you and I from now on, call each other sisters? How about being a pair of real sisters? These words were said in the name of acknowledging relatives, but in fact, they were here to establish a good relationship with Qin Benjiao. Be a true sister? Is this recognizing a relative? Qin Benjiao blinked her big eyes cutely and nodded happily. Okay, just right. I really want to have a sister. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 296. You want a sister? Tao Yaoyao was stunned for a moment, not knowing what to say. She really didn't expect that she was just here to establish a good relationship with Qin Benjiao, and she could also let her call her sister to improve her status, but accidentally, she was taken advantage of by the cute fairy in front of her. Do you really want to call me sister? How does she deserve it? But now that we have said it, we have to agree, otherwise, all our efforts will be wasted. Baida bit her lips lightly. Tao Yaoyao was full of dissatisfaction, but for her own plan, she could only be taken advantage of by Qin Benjiao in vain. She barely managed a smile and said, okay, from now on, I will call you sister. Qin Benjiao's eyes were shining, and she patted Tao Yaoyao's shoulder happily. Don't worry, Sister Yaoyao, From now on, sister will protect you. Thank you very much. Tao Yao Yao laughed dryly and suppressed her desire to fall out. Come, all this is to grasp Suliang's information. After chatting with Qin Benjao for a few words and making sure that Qin Benjao was completely unsuspecting, Tao Yao Yao tentatively asked, Sister Benjao, yesterday I saw that several of your sisters and seniors were all treating Brother Suliang okay then, do you have that kind of relationship with Mr. Suliang? Of course. Qin Benjao nodded matter-of-factly, subconsciously ignoring the fact that Wan Qing had not yet succeeded in the strategy. Seeing Qin Benjao's admission, Tao Yao Yao immediately made a surprised expression, but, sister, you are obviously so graceful and graceful. There should be many people who admire you. Why are you all surrounding Brother Suliang? Ah. Of course, Sister Benjao, please don't misunderstand me. Yao Yao is not saying that Brother Suliang is not good. It's just that Yao Yao can't figure it out. Sister Benjao, don't you feel aggrieved? Why are you aggrieved? Qin Benjao glanced at Tao Yao Yao strangely, and then started to show off her husband proudly. You can say this because you don't know Sulang. Let me tell you, Sulang is very powerful. Back then, Sulang and I had just known each other for more than a month, and we couldn't help but fall in love with Sulang and we were together. Besides, I'm pretty tall. Master seems to be a few days ahead of me, and Sister Ying, the Queen Mother, and Sulang are even faster. Hee, Sulang is always so gentle towards us. No matter what mistakes we make, he is reluctant to scold us and is always very kind to us. Moreover, Sulang is a very good cook. He often makes us a lot of novel but extremely delicious food. Listening to Qin Benjao's eloquent words, Tao Yao Yao felt that her mind was gradually blurring. I just wanted to get some information about Suliang from Qin Benjao. Why did Qin Benjao stuff me with a mouthful of dog food? Qin Benjao, Sister Qin, Ancestor Qin, please stop talking, okay? I'm full, really full, and I can't eat anymore. After a long time, Tao Yao Yao walked out of Qin Benjao's room under Qin Benjao's reluctant farewell. Until now, Tao Yao Yao still feels a little confused. It's strange. I heard a lot just now, but why did it seem like I didn't hear anything? Thinking about it carefully, what Qin Benjao said was indeed all information about Suliang, but it seemed like there wasn't any useful information at all, right? Well, Suliang is very kind to you, you love Suliang very much, and Suliang is very good at cooking. Then what? There's not even the slightest bit of useful information. Sighing and shaking her head, Tao Yao Yao planned to forget what Qin Benjao said for the time being. Although I didn't get any useful information during my visit this time, fortunately I have a good relationship with Qin Benjao, so it's not a wasted visit. Now that Qin Benjao has been here, it's time to choose the next target. Thinking in her mind, Tao Yao Yao stepped out of Qin Benjao's room. In the morning, after inquiring about the news from Qin Benjao, Tao Yao Yao kept going all the way. After a day, by the afternoon, she was already a little sluggish. Lying on the table in the yard, Tao Yao Yao sighed, her eyes filled with fatigue. At the end of the day, although Tao Yao Yao walked a lot, her body was not really tired. And the reason why she behaves like this is because she is tired. God knows how many times her mentality has changed this day. At first, Tao Yao Yao went out confidently, feeling that in just half a day, she would be able to get what she wanted. And when she came out from Qin Benjao's place, although the development of things was a bit different from what she imagined, she finally accomplished part of her goal. Although she was a little confused, she was still confident overall. But after this, however, Tao Yao Yao was in trouble, and her mentality also fell from confidence to frustration, like a landslide, plummeting thousands of miles, and the situation was fierce. It cannot be undone. After wandering around for a day, she discovered that except for Qin Benjao, who was easy to deceive at the beginning, the rest of them were all vixens and couldn't be deceived at all. When Suliang was around, these women were all gentle, soft, and enthusiastic, like little girls without any scheming. They looked more well-behaved than the last, and more cute and easy to deceive than the last. But when Suliang is not here, they immediately revealed their true colors and revealed their vixen attributes. Thinking about it carefully, it seems true. Yang Kaoj is the Empress of Great Xia. She has lived in the royal family for 20 years and has seen too many overt and covert struggles. If she had not had any knowledge of the city and the true meaning, she would have died countless times. Tan Kinja seems gentle and sweet, like a big sister, but she has been in charge of a sect for many years and even suppressed the original sect leader. How could she be someone who has no heart? As for Wan Qing, in charge of Daozong, he has been safe and sound for many years and can still make Daozong prosperous. The intricacies of overt and covert struggles, intrigues, and various forces are not something that a little witch can understand. So, facing such a group of people, Tao Yao said that she simply couldn't play. Not to mention getting information from them, Tao Yao felt that she was almost exposed several times. What should we do next? Thinking silently in her heart, Tao Yao sighed, feeling extremely confused. But just when she was struggling, ring ring ring, a gust of wind chimes rang, and immediately after, a peerless silhouette appeared suddenly and came into view in front of Tao Yao. See! A stunning girl stood in front of her. The girl's face was stunning, but she had a divine and aloof look. She raised her head slightly and looked at Tao Yao with indifference in her eyes, as if she were a god overlooking the common people, showing no emotion. Looking down, the girl has a slender figure, with a proud peak that needs to grow, but it is almost the same as Tao Yao's. She has a flat belly, a small and soft back, and her slender legs are wrapped under her skirt. The girl was dressed dignifiedly and luxuriously, with a bright yellow palace skirt covering her slender and delicate body, which brought out her divine and aloof temperament. And most importantly, this girl also has a pair of bells tied on her wrist. Looking at the bell on the girl's wrist, and then looking at the girl's stunning face and slender figure, Tao Yao suddenly felt an inexplicable familiarity for some reason, as if she had seen it before. However, the murderous intention also followed closely. Just because the girl in front of him, he ran, is Jingmeng's beloved disciple, Mu Qingqian. It's the same thing, kill the demons. Volume 1 Chapter 273 The Witch Who Was Suddenly Beheaded, showing off her apprentice competition. The goddess Mu Qingqian has an aloof personality and cannot be used as a demon-killing machine by emotions. Over the years, since she traveled in the mountains, countless demons have died at her hands. This name of goddess was created step by step by her stepping on the devil's path. Mu Qingqian followed the aura and clues left by her master to find it. As soon as she entered the mansion, she noticed the demonic aura lingering around her. She followed the demonic aura to find her. She saw Tao Yao lying on the table at a glance. The witch looks at the sword. Without any hesitation, Mu Qingqian shouted softly and immediately drew his sword to kill the demon girl. Aha! The blade of the sword flashed with cold light, and the sword intention suddenly rose, and the sword energy was flowing freely. Without saying a word, Mu Qingqian slashed towards Tao Yao with his sword. Although the sword energy was not very powerful, it seemed to be just a test, but when it struck the person, it had an impact. It will hurt too. Ah! Tao Yao was startled and jumped up immediately after being frightened by Mu Qingqian's sword. When she saw Suliang coming over, she quickly hid behind Suliang. Why do you want to chop me? Everyone was hiding behind Suliang. Tao Yao grabbed Suliang's shoulders with her two small hands, only showing her face, looking like she was in shock, and questioned Mu Qingqian with a trembling voice. She had just been inexplicably slashed by a sword and was almost frightened to death, but even so, Tao Yaoyao was still very dedicated and still played the role of the innocent girl and the sister next door. Before Mu Qingqian could say anything, Tao Yaoyao grabbed Suliang's shoulders and said to Suliang with a tearful, weak, and pitiful look, "Brother Suliang, this woman cut me inexplicably, you must protect me." The corner of his mouth twitched. Although Suliang still didn't trust Tao Yaoyao, he was a little curious about why Mu Qingqian suddenly drew his sword against her, so he asked in confusion, "Girl, why did you suddenly draw your sword and hurt someone? Could it be that Miss Yaoyao has an old grudge with you?" Mu Qingqian had no intention of answering Suliang, but said calmly and indifferently, "Good and evil do not know their own strength. If you encounter evil, you should kill him without mercy, without any reason." Hearing this, Suliang raised his eyebrows and looked at Tao Yaoyao, who was hiding behind him again. Listening to Mu Qingqian's words, she naturally cannot be a demon. In that case, is Tao Yaoyao a demon? Well, although the Yin-Yang Dao sect is called Dao Zone, it secretly controls the dynasty. This is indeed what the demonic society does. Get out of the way and let me kill this demon. When Mu Qingqian saw that Suliang was silent and just looked at Tao Yaoyao with a strange expression, he said nothing more and drew his sword before slashing. Those who protect the devil must be devoted to the devil. They are no different from the devil. They cannot do it either. Let me go, if you don't let me go, I won't even let you go. Humph, don't think I'm afraid of you. Tao Yaoyao was also angered by Mu Qingqian's open-mouthed words about how the devil would be eradicated. She stepped out from behind Suliang and got into a stance, ready to have a fight with Mu Qingqian. After all, as a disciple of Dong Huang, he must have the necessary combat power, which does not conflict with the persona of an innocent girl. Then, two women who are at odds with good and evil are about to fight when they meet for the first time. But at this critical moment, a voice came, "Qingqian, stop." Hearing this, Mu Qingqian was startled, looked in the direction of the sound, and subconsciously shouted, "Master! Master!" Suliang was also startled. He looked back subconsciously and saw Jingmeng walking quickly towards him at a glance. Oh, it turns out that this righteous chivalrous woman is the disciple of Senior Jingmeng. It would be a violation of etiquette to attack someone at will in someone else's place. Jingmeng walked up to Mu Qing and patted her apprentice on the head. "Let's stop today. If you two can meet again in the future, it won't be too late to take action /." Oh. Seeing that the master had stopped him, Mu Qingqian listened and put away the sword. The sacred and aloof feeling immediately turned into a naive and ignorant person. She looked at the master and said, "Disciple, listen to the master. Yes, let her go first." Seeing Mu Qingqian like this, Suliang rubbed his eyebrows and felt a little dizzy. Should I say that I am a master and a disciple? The temperaments of the two masters and disciples are really the same. My girlfriend, and Senior Jingmeng, I already have two cute guys at home, and now there's another one? Stop it. Two are enough to give you a headache. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 297. In the room, Wan Qing and Jingmeng sat together, looking at Suliang and Mu Qingqian standing in front of them, relatively speechless. After a while, Wan Qing looked at Mu Qingqian and said, "Meng Meng, is this your apprentice?" Mu Qingqian, "Well, the name is good, the qualifications are good, and the cultivation is acceptable." But then, Wan Qing changed the subject, "But, he is just not as good as my apprentice." After hearing this, Jingmeng stared at Wan Qing. "No, my apprentice is better. If Sister Wanqing is not convinced, then let them have a try as we agreed before." "That's what I mean, it's settled." Wan Qing nodded and stared at Jingmeng without any weakness. The two of them looked at each other like this, and there seemed to be some sparks flying out of them. But, seeing the two of them looking like this, Suliang was extremely speechless. If you want to show off your apprentice, just say so. Why go to so much trouble and make so many excuses for yourself? Are you tired? My good disciple, come and give Master a massage. Master feels a little tired. Wan Qing leaned back on the chair, patted her beautiful black stocking legs, and said to Suliang, "Yes, Master." Suliang immediately agreed, walked forward, knelt down, placed his hands on Wan Qing's beautiful black stocking legs, and began to massage them carefully. Well. Wan Qing hummed softly, feeling the massage from her apprentice. She felt waves of extreme comfort coming over her, and she couldn't help but smile. She looked very comfortable. See this. Not to be outdone, Jingmeng also leaned down like Wan Qing and patted her legs. "Qingqian, I feel a little tired too. Come and give me a massage." "Yes." Mu Qingqian nodded, walked forward, placed a pair of soft, boneless hands on Jingmeng's legs, and kneaded them gently. Although Mu Qingqian's skills were not as good as Suliang's, his soft, boneless hands were an advantage, and their comfort level was not much worse than Suliang's. After a long time, the two people, each enjoying the massage from their apprentice, raised their heads and looked at each other. Snored. Although I don't want to admit it, it seems that there is no winner or loser in terms of apprentice service. Time soon came to night. After chatting with Jingmeng for a while, Wan Qing suddenly looked at the sky, pretending to be surprised. "Oh, it's already night, my good disciple, I'm hungry." "Master, please wait for a moment. I will go make dinner for Master right now." Suliang bowed and retreated to the kitchen. See this. Volume 1 Chapter 274 The Fairies' Beep Plan and the Further Expansion of the Stockings Industry. Jingmeng also signaled to his disciple, "Qingqian, I feel a little hungry as well." "Yes, Master, I will make what Master likes to eat." "Say it." Also followed in Suliang's footsteps. After a while, Wan Qing and Jingmeng were sitting at the table. On the table, there was a table full of delicacies in different styles. My disciple specially made some of Master's favorite food, and asked Master to taste it. Suliang said, picked up a pair of chopsticks and handed it to Wan Qing's mouth. "Ah!" Wan Qing opened her mouth and took the food into her mouth. Soon she showed a happy expression and said loudly, "Not bad, good disciple. My craftsmanship is very good. I like it very much as my teacher." Seeing Wan Qing's appearance, Jingmeng blinked cutely, but in her heart she was disdainful. "Humph, isn't it just to let the apprentice cook what he likes to eat? It seems that no one's apprentice can do the same." Chapter 420 Qin Binjao's Plan for Transformation. "Ah!" Jingmeng opened his mouth wide at his apprentice, like a little beast waiting to be fed. He looked so cute that people couldn't help but feed him. Seeing his master like this, Mu Qingqian was a little confused and didn't know what his master wanted to do. But soon, she saw Suliang feeding Wan Qing. "I see." Mu Qingqian immediately woke up, picked up a chopstick of vegetables, and stuffed it into Jingmeng's mouth with a slightly stiff hand. Immediately afterwards, Wan Qing and Jingmeng looked at each other while puffing out their cheeks and chewing. Well, this comparison comes from the aspect of taking care of the apprentice. Although Mu Qingqian is not skilled in skills and did not react immediately, he is slightly inferior to Suliang, but overall, the gap is not too big. Forget it, let's just treat it as a tie. The next day, on the training ground. After Wan Qing and Jingmeng each taught their apprentices a set of sword techniques of the same difficulty, they sat aside and watched their apprentices practice and train. This is their third show-off apprentice competition, the apprentice training competition. After memorizing their respective sword skills, Suliang and Mu Qingqian both pondered, recalling various details of the sword skills just now. After a while, the two of them woke up from their respective states of understanding. Immediately, they slowly waved the swords in their hands and began to practice the sword technique. After a set of swordsmanship was executed, Suliang and Mu Qingqian sheathed their swords almost at the same time, looked at their masters, and said in unison, "Master, we have learned this set of swordsmanship." After hearing this, Wan Qing and Jing Meng looked at each other, and then nodded again. The swordsmanship performed by Suliang and Mu Qingqian just now was indeed without any mistakes. Whether it was the sword moves or the sword intention, they were all perfect. The two of them even corrected the flaws in the swordsmanship. If he had not already mastered the swordsmanship perfectly, how could he possibly be able to modify the swordsmanship? That's all. It seems a bit inappropriate to forcefully say that the two of them have not mastered swordsmanship. So, this third game is still a tie? Continue or not? Wan Qing asked endlessly. Jing Meng knew that Wan Qing was asking herself if she wanted to continue competing, so she nodded, "Continue." During the break between the competitions, Suliang and Mu Qingqian sat together. There was a hint of helplessness in the eyes of the two of them looking at their master. To be fair, the competition between the two has proven one thing. Wan Qing and Jing Meng's respective apprentices are indeed very powerful. But, the apprentice is very powerful, but as masters, the two of them are obviously useless. Master is so unreliable. Waiting online, quite urgent. Looking at each other, the two apprentices felt helpless to each other. During the competition between the two, Qin Binjiao and Tan Qinjia witnessed the whole process. Looking at Suliang and Mu Qingqian who were sitting aside and chatting quietly, Qin Binjiao said that she also wanted to join the group chat, so she said to her master, "Master, master, let's go and compete too." After hearing this, Tan Qinjia took her apprentice away without saying a word. "Just kidding, my aunt and senior Jing Meng are not clear-headed. Compared with their apprentices, why are you, a rebellious disciple, trying to get involved? Why, my master, am not good enough? Keep on holding on, this competition should be over soon." Suliang looked at master and Jing Meng, who were excitedly discussing how to compete next, and sighed. "I hope so." Mu Qingqian answered calmly. Although his tone was as calm and indifferent as ever, if you look carefully, you can still hear some helplessness in it. After listening to Mu Qingqian's words and looking at Mu Qingqian sitting next to him, Suliang chuckled. Because they had a common topic, Suliang unconsciously found that his relationship with Mu Qingqian had eased a lot. It was no longer like when Mu Qingqian drew his sword and was about to kill him when they first met. Then, Suliang thought for a while and tried to enlighten, "Miss Mu, I see that you want to kill all the demons without sparing anyone, but isn't it a bit too extreme to act like this? Not all people in the righteous path are good people. Relatively speaking, not all people in the devil's path are bad people. Those heinous people should indeed be killed. This is the way of heaven. But for those good people in the devil's way, shouldn't Miss Mu also consider giving them a chance? Perhaps they joined the demonic path because they had no choice. They have never done a bad thing in their lives, but in the end they were killed by Miss Mu. Isn't this a little unreasonable? But I didn't expect it." Suliang's persuasion had no effect at all. Mu Qingqian still insisted on his own idea, "The good devil does not know his own strength. As a righteous man, I should kill the devil without sparing anyone. Does this have anything to do with why they joined the devil? It's okay to be evil. Kill the devil, this is my duty as a righteous man." After hearing this, Suliang rubbed his brows and felt a headache. How did Jing Meng teach his disciples? How could he teach such a stubborn disciple? Isn't this what you are trying to do? Suliang could already imagine that in the following days, Mu Qingqian and Tao Yaoyao would fight back and forth every day, making it a chaotic day. "I have a headache, what should I do?" You can't just kick two people out, right? But at this moment, the system provided Suliang with a new option. It has been detected that a new simulation object has appeared. The host does not meet the opening conditions and cannot be bound. New mock object? Mu Qingqian next to me? Indeed, if I bind Mu Qingqian to simulate the strategy, then it seems that she will really listen to me. But just for such a trivial matter, it won't be a big deal if you attack others. Moreover, they no longer meet the conditions and cannot be bound. Why are you telling me this for the dog system? Give me a new and feasible road, and then seal it with your own hands. Are you going to die? Without any choice. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 298. Suliang had no choice but to tell his girlfriend about the conflict between Tao Yaoyao and Mu Qingqian and his headache, and asked his girlfriend to find a solution for him. After holding her chin and thinking for a moment, Qin Binjiao's eyes lit up. Suliang, I have an idea. Oh. Suliang was quite surprised. Come and tell me. It's very simple. Qin Binjiao said matter-of-factly, in order to resolve the current conflict, Suliang, wouldn't it be great if you let her join us? Let Mr. Lang beep beep beep, all the contradictions will be gone. Listening to his girlfriend's words, Suliang was speechless. Binjiao, I'm here to ask you for a solution, not to hear your plan for the righteous goddess to save you. Listen to yourself. Do you know what bold words you said have been silenced? Nonsense. Suliang violently hit his girlfriend on the head and looked at her speechlessly. Because of her bold speech, she was shot in the head and silenced. Qin Binjiao covered her head and looked at her man with tears in her eyes. Woo, Suliang, you bully others, they are all doing it for your own good, why do you hit them? It hurts, okay. In the small courtyard of the mansion, Tan Qingja looked at the information recorded in her hand, and a smile appeared on her face unconsciously. See this. Qin Binjiao came forward and asked curiously, Master, why are you so happy? Is there something good going on? You could say that. Tan Qingja smiled and nodded, glanced at Suliang beside her, and couldn't help admiring her voice. Our Tiandao sex stockings business is getting better and better now. Through Heliayun auction, thanks to our cooperation, our stockings are now sold in many places. Everywhere we go, there are crowds of people, all of them female monks rushing to buy them. It can be said that the supply exceeds the demand. Even our Tiandao sex silk stocking production is somewhat insufficient. When talking about this, Tan Qingja's tone was still a little shocked. I never expected that these little stockings could be so popular and have already set off a trend in this world. In just a few years, if you go out again, you will probably see that all the female monks are wearing stockings. Listening to Tan Qingja's words, Suliang smiled but said nothing. As for the current popularity of stockings, Suliang had actually expected it for a long time. After all, stockings are good-looking and comfortable to wear. Female monks like them, but male monks like them even more. In the original world, the popularity of stockings has proven how popular they are. Even if the world changes, this popularity will not change. Seeing Suliang smiling and saying nothing, Tan Qingja asked, Liang, how will our Tiandao sex stockings business operate next? Do you have any ideas? After hearing this, Suliang said, didn't my sister already have an idea? Just follow what she thinks. My method may not be better than hers. Nodding, Tan Qingja stood up and said, with your words, Liang, sister, I feel relieved. Binjiao, go to the palace and call Chao Ji over. I have some things to discuss with her. Watching her apprentice leave, Tan Qingja showed a confident smile on her face. There is indeed a huge plan brewing in her heart. As long as this plan can come true, perhaps, Tiandao sex stockings business will be unstoppable. Sister Qingja is saying that we, Daxia, should come and cooperate with your Tiandao sect. Yingkeoch sat next to Tan Kinja, stroking the teacup in her hand unconsciously with her slender hands, thinking seriously in her heart. She naturally knew what Tan Kinja wanted to cooperate with Daxia. After all, Tiandao sect's manpower is limited. Even if it found a small sect that can do OEM work, the output is still limited and cannot meet the current huge demand for silk stockings. As for Daxia, as a secular dynasty, the most indispensable thing is people. In this way, Tiandaozong provided technology and channels, separated from the tedious production, and focused on developing the latest styles. Then, all production was handed over to Daxia, and the two parties agreed on a suitable price. In this way, since the production of silk stockings is greatly increased, it can also find a stable and profitable job for the people of Daxia. This was a win-win situation, and since we were all a family, Yingkeoch couldn't think of any reason for him to refuse. But immediately afterwards, Yingkeoch said hesitantly, Keoch naturally has no reason to refuse this win-win cooperation. Sister Kinja can give Keoch such an opportunity to cooperate. It's not too late for Keoch to be grateful. But, isn't the cooperation between Tiandao sect and Daxia too powerful? As the stockings business becomes more and more popular, it is inevitable that this business will be targeted by those Shangzone families. Tiandao sect is just an ordinary sect, and Daxia is just a secular dynasty. When it comes to small sects, the strength of these two forces is not weak, but once they face the sects of those aristocratic families, they are not enough. So, we have to find a big backer. Tan Kinja said matter-of-factly that she had naturally considered this issue. Immediately, Tan Kinja looked at Wan Qing and Jing Meng, who were sitting opposite, and said with a smile, "And, Senior Jing Meng, I wonder if Fukang Dao sect and Taishian sect are willing to be the backers." Fukang Dao sect and Taishian sect only need to be the backers behind our Tiandao sect and De Xia, to scare Xiao Xiao, and as a price, both of us will give a portion of the profits every month. How about it? Hearing Tan Kinja's words, Yingkeoch felt his eyes light up. Yes, there are two ready-made sects here, and they are both our own people. Isn't this problem of backing solved? With two great sects as a background, this stockings business depends on who dares to take action. However, faced with Tan Kinja's request for cooperation, Jingmeng looked confused. What stockings, what backer, what are you talking about? Hearing this, Wan Qing showed a proud smile on her face. Taking the opportunity to win back the game, she started to show off her apprentice's invention. Look at it, Meng Meng. Wan Qing said, stretching out her plump legs wrapped in white silk. What I'm wearing on my legs are the stockings invented by my apprentice. Let me tell you, these stockings are very comfortable to wear. Moreover, stockings of different colors and styles will bring different changes in temperament when worn on the body. All in all, something that looks good and is comfortable has no reason not to be popular. Why don't you, Meng Meng, come and try it too? Volume 1 Chapter 275, Coaxing Best Friend to Wear Black Stockings, Teacher Qin's small class begins. While talking, Wan Qing took out a pair of brand new stockings, stuffed them into Jingmeng's hands, and enthusiastically invited Jingmeng to try them on. Jingmeng held the stockings in her hand and hesitated for a moment, not knowing whether to put them on or ignore them. But looking at Wan Qing's legs wrapped in black silk, it makes her plump legs look slender and tight. Moreover, the pure feeling of white silk amplifies Wan Qing's holiness and makes her whole temperament change greatly. It was really effective to look like two completely different people before. Okay, Sister Wanqing, I'll give it a try, said. Jingmeng took the silk stockings and avoided the person. After a rustling sound, she quickly returned. Everyone's eyes lit up when they saw Jingmeng wearing stockings. I saw. Jingmeng has long sky blue hair shawl, a pretty face that is cold and indifferent, and is wearing a palace dress. She is extremely beautiful, like a cold beauty made of ice crystals. But now, the pair of white silk on her legs has infinitely expanded this cold, holy, and pure feeling, making her look even colder and more sacred. Just one look at it makes people want to use their own. The embrace warms the cold beauty. Feeling the smooth, restraining feeling of the white silk on her legs, and looking at the amazed gazes of Wan Qing and others, Jingmeng lightly pursed her red lips, feeling very satisfied with the white silk on her legs. Nodding, Jingmeng was finally captured by silk stockings and agreed, "Okay, we're cooperating. I agree on behalf of Taixuanzong." Hearing this, Tan Qinja and Ying Kaoj both breathed a sigh of relief. Now, the technology, labor force, and backend are all available, and the constraints that could restrict the continued expansion of the stockings business are gone. Finally, we can expand the scale with peace of mind. Seeing her master, Sister Ying, and Jingmeng sign the contract in just a few words, Qin Binjiao thought about it and suddenly had a bold idea in her mind. Master, Yao has an idea that may be useful." Qin Binjiao raised her little hands and said confidently, "Since our Tiandao sect has already cooperated with Daxia, it would be too wasteful to just make one stocking. Why not? Let's open up some other industries and broaden our horizons." "Our business?" "Oh." Tan Qinja raised her eyebrows and asked, "What industry? For example?" Qin Binjiao thought for a moment and smiled, "For example, those beautiful clothes and skirts can be made and sold. Sulang made a lot of beautiful clothes for us before. We all like the clothes. There is no reason why others don't like them. Furthermore, with Sulang's previous designs, we can now design a lot of unique and beautiful clothes. Coupled with the clothes designed by Sulang before, we can sell them for a long time." Hearing this, Tan Qinja, Ying Kaoj and others looked at each other and were immediately interested in Qin Binjiao. "Yes. Focusing only on the stockings, I almost forgot about those beautiful clothes designed by my husband. To be honest, those clothes, in the eyes of Tan Qinja and others, did look a bit strange at first glance. They were styles they had never seen before, but after putting them on, they felt that they looked very good. It can be said that they were very beautiful." "Liked it? You must know that as a stunning beauty, Qin Binjiao, Tan Qinja, and the others have extremely high standards, and they don't like ordinary designs at all. Even they like it, so there is no reason why it can't attract the interest of the world. And more importantly, those clothes, those designs that have never appeared in this world, will definitely attract the attention of countless people. No matter how you look at it, this business looks pretty good?" "Yeah, okay." Tan Qinja thought for a moment and nodded, "As long as the design is sufficient, this business can be done." "Master thinks it's okay, then it's really okay." Qin Binjiao laughed proudly, feeling that she was really awesome for making such a bold proposal, and she almost wanted to get in the way. Immediately afterwards, Qin Binjiao took out a booklet from her waist and handed it to Tan Qinja. "Master, this is the invention booklet that Sulang made before. It records the various clothes designed by Sulang. Just these clothing styles are enough. We have been selling it for a long time." Listening to what her apprentice said, Tan Qinja slowly opened the booklet in her hand and looked at it carefully. "Really? There are many clothes in different styles, but all of them look good. Even the OL outfit Qin Wanyu wore not long ago was recorded in it." She kept rummaging around and looking at the styles of clothes she had occasionally flipped through. In the past, scenes of her getting along with her little brother in the Tiandao sect came to mind, and Tan Qinja couldn't help but smile warmly. At this time, seeing Tan Qinja looking enthusiastically, all the girls surrounding her came closer and looked at the clothes in the brochure. Seeing the lavender cheongsam recorded in the brochure, which was exactly the style that Suliang had made for herself, Wan Qing looked a little shy, but her eyes were as charming as silk. She raised the corners of her mouth with a nice curve and smiled. Yang Kaoj looked at the novel clothing styles one by one, many of which were bolder than she had ever seen before. She also looked shy, but there was a hint of expectation in her eyes. There are many styles, it will definitely look great if you wear them and play with your husband. But Qin Wanyu remembered how excited her king was when she put on the OL uniform when she was in Yin Yang Dao sect. That night, even the sheets were changed, it was really crazy. Thinking in her heart, Qin Wanyu couldn't help but blush, but she smiled softly, and wanted to have sex with her king again. But Jing Meng looked cute, looking at the clothes recorded in the booklet, and thinking seriously. These clothes all look weird, some of them are quite bold, but, if you look closely, they look really good. If it is really produced, do you want to buy a few pieces? Jing Meng was a little moved as he thought with wide eyes. Suliang opened the door and walked into the room. As soon as he stepped in, he immediately heard his Wanyu's somewhat stern voice, "Classmate Suliang, you are late. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator." Author, Fangzone Wo Meng. Chapter 299. Suliang was stunned and subconsciously looked in the direction of the sound, and then took a breath of air. Hiss. What did I see? Is this paradise? I saw. Qin Wanyu stood in the room, wearing a pair of black-rimmed glasses on her beautiful and charming face, which added a bit of intellectual beauty to her. The upper body is a white shirt and a black silk formal jacket. The proud peaks are tightly restrained by the shirt, ready to burst out. The lower body is a black hip-hugging skirt and black translucent stockings. The plump legs are perfect, and the round and straight part behind is perfect. Highlighted. Yuzu wears a pair of black high heels, which further highlights her tall figure. She has a small wooden stick in her hand as a prop. Isn't this clearly a teacher's OL outfit? Teacher Qin is online again? Volume 1 Chapter 276 Gaoran keeps cosplaying, but Bai Dong is with the wrong person? The Fall of the Goddess. At this moment, Yang Kaoj's voice came over again, "Classmate Suliang, what are you doing? Come sit here quickly." Hearing the sound, Suliang followed the sound again and looked over. I saw. The crown on Yang Kaoj's fiery red hair has been removed, but she has put it into a pure hairstyle. There is no makeup on her face, but she is still stunningly beautiful, pure, and clean. Looking further down, the upper body is in a white short-sleeved shirt with a red tie around the neck. The proud peak stands tall and the content is vaguely visible through the gaps between the buttons of the shirt. The lower body is a blue pleated skirt. The pleated skirt reaches to the knees. Paired with the black knee-high socks below, it just brings out the mysterious beauty of the absolute realm. Paired with a pair of small leather shoes, the pure and cute image is fully revealed. Is this JK server? Empress JK, she is so pure and cute, okay. I love her. Okay, classmate Suliang, I won't make an exception for being late this time. Go back to class quickly. Qin Wanyu tapped the wooden stick in her hand on the table, signaling Suliang to sit next to Yang Kaoj. After blinking, Suliang moved over and sat down, looking at the pure and lovely Yang Kaoj next to him, and then at the majestic and charming Qin Wanyu on the stage. He couldn't help but swallow. The charming teacher and the innocent student are paired together. This kind of class play is really exciting, isn't it? After coming out of Yang Kaoj and Qin Wanyu's class, Suliang turned around and walked to the room next to him. When Suliang opened the door and walked in, his body immediately stiffened. After a while, rubbing his eyes, Suliang murmured to himself, I actually went the wrong way. Oops, I was so careless. With that said, Suliang walked out of the room as if no one else was around and planned to close the door. Come in. Wan Qing sat in the room, folded her arms and ordered, "Don't think about it, I'm just waiting for you, come in quickly." Hearing his master's voice, Suliang froze and said with a grimace, "Master, this is inappropriate." Chapter 423 Yefei's Troubles. "No, that's appropriate." Wan Qing looked at her apprentice seriously and said. But Suliang disagreed with his master's words. "It would be fine if there was only my master in the room, but Jingmen was still in there. If it were normal times, Jingmen would be here, but at this moment, there is obviously something wrong with the clothes on Jingmen's body, right? I saw." Wan Qing and Jingmen were sitting on chairs, each wearing a cheongsam. Wan Qing is wearing a lavender cheongsam, with her jade arms exposed. The cheongsam is slim-fitting, and the round shape of the proud peak is completely highlighted. The flat belly, the round and straight figure behind her, and her long and plump legs are all tightly bound by the cheongsam. Under the cheongsam and the slit on the side, you can vaguely see the black silk wrapping, which can be said to be fascinating to the extreme. Jingmen is wearing a light ice blue cheongsam, but it matches her hair color. The slim cheongsam outlines her proud figure, her proud peaks are swollen, and her slender legs are highlighted. A pair of white silk restrains her legs, cold, but pure, like she is as dazzling and charming as a goddess. In this world, this kind of clothing is considered relatively bold, but it is displayed in front of an outsider or the opposite sex. No matter what Suliang thinks, it feels wrong. But looking at Jingmen's silly expression, Suliang felt that this girl probably didn't even realize how attractive she was to the opposite sex. "Come on, come in quickly." After inviting Suliang to come in, Wan Qing pushed Suliang to sit down, and then she took her best friend and started to perform in front of her apprentice. Wan Qing's steps are bold, her temperament is charming, but also has a bit of holiness. The twists and turns of her steps are full of natural charm and holiness, like an angel who has fallen into a devil, which makes people feel thrilling. Jingmen's temperament is cold and sacred, and the sound of cheongsam deepens this temperament. He walks through the whole process with an expressionless and indifferent look, but he just wants to make people kneel on the ground and voluntarily become Jingmen's dog. After the catwalk, Wan Qing sat on her apprentice, licked her red lips, and asked, "My dear apprentice, how do you feel?" "You still need to ask?" "Of course it is beautiful." Suliang swallowed hard, nodded and gave a thumbs up. When Suliang returned to his room, he saw at a glance that his girlfriend was wearing a pure white witch costume. The plain white witch costume was decorated with red ribbons and her armpits were hollow. Qin Benjao raised her hands, and the smooth contents of her armpits appeared, with the outline of the proud peak. The small jade feet are wrapped in white silk, which further shows Qin Benjao's purity and holiness. "Young man, I noticed that this place is full of demonic energy, so I came here specifically to purify and exorcise demons." While speaking, Qin Benjao walked up to Suliang with small steps and looked at Suliang with a pure and cute expression. "Now that the devil has possessed you, there is no other way. It seems that I can only dedicate myself to you. Exorcise the monsters." His. The appearance of a pure Maiko? Seeing his girlfriend's appearance, Suliang felt like something was stirring in his body and he was almost out of control. Suliang left his room and came to his sister's place. He originally wanted to find some peace and quiet, but he didn't expect that as soon as he opened the door, he was caught in. Immediately afterwards, a soft and delicate body pressed herself against the wall and gave herself a wall dong. "Coach, I want to exercise, can you help me?" Tan Kinja's voice was full of charm, she spoke softly, her eyes were as charming as silk, and her pretty face was blushing. At this moment, she wears white short-sleeved upper body and very short blue shorts on the lower body. Her plump and beautiful legs are tightly wrapped in white silk, which adds a tight and pure beauty. She looks pure and lovely, tempting to make mistakes. The combination of these types of clothes was a perfect combination that formed something in Suliang's memory. Gym clothes. His. Suliang took a breath of cold air, the fragrance of his sister lingering on the tip of his nose. Listening to his sister's words and looking at his sister's gym clothes, the giant sword gradually showed signs of raising its head. Ahem. With a slight cough, Suliang pretended to be calm and looked at his sister's pretty face. Coach really wants to help you, but since you haven't expressed anything, it's going to be very difficult. After a busy day, Suliang sat in the yard, looking at the clouds in the sky, feeling a little melancholy. On this day, he could be said to have met all the women in his family. 4 women, 1 master, and Jing Meng. These 6 people are divided into 4 groups. Each group has a plot, each one is more exciting than the last. But Suliang carefully recalled what he had done today. Clearly nothing has been done. The excitement was indeed exciting, but they just used Suliang as a reference and didn't give him any meat at all. To be honest, after such an exciting day, Suliang's giant sword was unsheathed and unsheathed countless times. The meat was in front of him but he couldn't eat it. This feeling was really uncomfortable. How can such a miserable word be used? Hiding in the dark, looking at Yang Kaoj who was looking for him, Yefei felt her face flush and her heart beating, and she couldn't help herself. Logically speaking, as a female general in charge of Shenjing's real power, she should personally protect Yang Kaoj. However, in the past few days, she really couldn't stay close to her. For some reason, Yefei found that His Majesty was really astringent recently. Either it's pure JK, or it's slim-fitting old clothing, or it's a Cheongsam +1. It's a pattern every day, and it's not the same every day. In Yefei's opinion, it's really bold. And, the most terrible thing is that Yang Kaoj always drags Yefei with him. Yefei refused this very much. Are you kidding me? Is that something you can wear? Such shameful clothes, although they look good, make me feel so embarrassed just looking at them. How can I wear them? Looking at the even more shameful clothes in the hands of His Majesty, who was still looking for her, Yefei bit her lips lightly. Thinking back to her experiences in the past few days, she felt even more ashamed. Why is Your Majesty like this? So where has that elegant, dignified, and majestic Majesty gone? Forget it, let's go ask Mr. Suliang. Mr. Suliang has a close relationship with His Majesty and must know why His Majesty became like this. Thinking in her mind, Yefei quietly walked out of the palace and rushed to Suliang's mansion decisively. In the mansion, Suliang was lying on the bed, looking at the ceiling, with a broken look on his face, feeling that he really couldn't get up again. In the past few days, several of the women in my family have been dressing up in various ways, each one more beautiful and tempting than the other. Every time they pull me to watch, but they won't let me eat. Isn't this just torture? In addition, Tao Yao Yao and Mu Qingqian are at odds with good and evil every day, fighting in all kinds of ways. These days, Suliang really felt a little overwhelmed and exhausted both physically and mentally. Tired, no longer in love, destroy it, I don't care. With a sigh, Suliang felt like his mentality was exploding. But at this time, Yefei suddenly broke into the room. Just as he was about to speak, he saw the collapsed Suliang. After being stunned for a moment, Yefei slowed down, approached Suliang slowly, and asked with concern, "Mr. Su, what's wrong with you? I'm so tired, I don't want to move." Suliang said blankly, with a dull look on his face, feeling like he was about to collapse. Seeing Suliang like this, Yefei blinked, but felt a little shocked. For a person as powerful as Mr. Su, what could possibly make Mr. Su so tired? Isn't this too scary? It seems that compared with Mr. Su, the matter between myself and His Majesty is nothing. At this time, Suliang turned his head slightly and saw Yefei wearing a straight military uniform. Yefei is dressed in a snow-white military uniform, which is smart and slim. The skirt is wrapped in white silk, and the straight boots wrap her feet and calves. This trendy dress makes her whole body exude a capable and heroic spirit, which is different from any of her own styles. But equally fascinating. My villain wants to clear his name, but he awakens Cao Thief Simulator. Author, Fangzone Womeng. Chapter 300. I don't know why, Sul Yang, who could usually hold back, couldn't help feeling the charm exuding from Yefei when he was exhausted both physically and mentally. There was a bang, and something seemed to be broken in Sul Yang's mind. By accident, Sul Yang lost control of his body. Whoosh! Sul Yang turned over very quickly, but suddenly took action and grabbed Yefei's waist. Immediately afterwards. Boom! With a muffled sound, Sul Yang pressed Yefei onto the bed, supporting his body with one hand, and stared at Yefei's exquisite face in the air, intently. At this moment, Yefei was completely stunned. Was he, knocked against the wall by Mr. Su? And, still in bed. Looking at Sul Yang's face so close and feeling the aura on Sul Yang's body, Yefei felt a little obsessed for some reason. Only. After a while, the obsession subsided, Yefei came back to her senses, and her pretty face turned completely red. Ah! With a scream, Yefei was so embarrassed that she didn't even dare to look at Sul Yang. She just pushed Sul Yang's arm away, then quickly stood up and ran away without looking back. Looking at Yefei's leaving figure, Sul Yang was stunned and patted his forehead. Tisk, I accidentally made a mistake. With a sigh, Sul Yang felt like he had a headache at this moment. She ran all the way towards the gate of the mansion. However, before Yefei could run out, she saw Yang Kaoj coming through the gate. Seeing Yefei's pretty face flushed and looking flustered and shy, Yang Kaoj was stunned and asked with concern, Yefei, what's wrong with you? After hearing Yang Kaoj's words, Yefei stopped where she was, feeling even more guilty. Wow, just now I was intimate with His Majesty's man, I didn't expect that His Majesty would still care about me so much. Your Majesty, I am sorry for you. Thinking in his mind, Yefei bit his lower lip lightly, raised 3 fingers, and swore to God, Your Majesty, don't worry, Yefei, promise that I will never have any thoughts about Your Majesty's man. However, Yefei never thought that Yang Kaoj had never asked her about her and Sul Yang, but she said such a sentence without thinking at this moment. This is basically the same as self-destruction. It can be said that Sima Zhe is heartbroken. If Yang Kaoj can no longer see that her best friend has thoughts about her man, she will no longer be worthy of being the empress. But Yang Kaoj didn't pay much attention to this. He just waved his hand and said, okay, I know. Well, as long as you're fine, go and do your work. I'm going to find Mr. Lang. At the same time, Sul Yang, who had a headache alone in the room, suddenly jumped out of bed. No, we can't go on like this. If he allowed his women to continue to suffer, they would be fine, but he might not be able to bear it anymore. Fight back, you must fight back. Sul Yang kept thinking of a counter-attack plan in his mind, and soon, Sul Yang showed a malicious smile. It seems that it is indeed necessary to teach these restless and virtuous wives a lesson. In the past few days, as Qin Benjiao and others kept changing clothes and performing various welfare theaters in front of Sul Yang, Tao Yaoyao and Mu Qingqian inevitably saw Qin Benjiao and others dressed up in various ways. But at first, the two of them didn't care about it. Not only do I not care, I even feel disgusted. In Mu Qingqian's eyes, many of Qin Benjiao's and others' new clothes were just fluttering pieces of cloth. Even though the designs were exquisite, many places were often exposed and could not be covered. Coupled with all kinds of stockings, the allure is beyond the imagination. What kind of clothes should a righteous person wear? In Tao Yaoyao's eyes, although the designs of these clothes were novel and bold, there was too little that could be revealed. Although they were tempting, the temptation was limited. Well, they were not pleasing to the eyes of a seductress like her. But when they had nothing to do and recalled the styles, colors, and designs of those clothes, they felt that they looked a bit nice. It is indeed a design I have never seen before, and I do find it a bit shameful and strange, but I just think it looks good. Is there anything I can do about it? After I thought it looked good, I unconsciously wanted to wear one and have a look. After all, which young and beautiful lady can refuse such a novel dress? Not even the righteous goddess who has no feelings can do it. And just when they both wanted new and beautiful clothes and skirts, Qin Benjao and Tan Kinja came to the door with clothes. Junior sister Qing Qian, do you think these clothes look good? Tan Kinja held a booklet, flipped through the contents at random, and asked Mu Qing Qian. Theoretically speaking, Mu Qing Qian is Jingmen's disciple, Jingmen is Wangqing's good friend, and Tan Kinja is Wangqing's niece. Therefore, Mu Qing Qian and Tan Kinja can be considered the same generation. This junior sister is not wrong. Well, looking at the contents of this booklet, the indifferent and sacred face of the righteous goddess Mu Qing Qian frequently showed traces of emotion. These clothes are so shameful, but they also look good. I have so many of them and I like them all. However, I am a righteous person, and I should be upright and upright. How could I wear such shameful and bold clothes? It is inappropriate, it is really inappropriate. Seeing Mu Qingqian's struggling expression, Tan Kinja smiled warmly and said, Junior sister Qing Qian, it's just a piece of clothing. There's no need to worry about anything. People are divided into good and evil, but the clothes are not divided. No matter how bold the clothes are, if you wear the right way on your body, it is also the right way to dress. As a young girl, you should dress up well. What's wrong with that? Look, senior sister and I, Yao are also righteous people, and don't we also wear these clothes? This does not affect our status as righteous people at all. That's right. Qin Benjao took out pieces of clothing with great enthusiasm. Sister Qing Qian, please choose a few pieces. These are all carefully designed and made by others. They are all very beautiful. Gilug. Mu Qing Qian looked at the beautiful clothes in front of her and couldn't help but slowly stretched out her hand. The righteous goddess gradually fell into depravity. Looking at this scene, Tan Kinja's face was full of encouragement and warmth, but in her heart, she was extremely dark. Put it on me quickly. Is this appropriate? When Mu Qingqian's jade hand was about to touch the clothes, she suddenly retracted and hesitated again. Seeing Mu Qingqian's hesitant look, Tan Kinja smiled slightly and was not surprised at all. After all, she is a righteous goddess with no affection. Even if she wants to fall, it will take time and process. She must do it step by step and not irritate her. Then, Tan Kinja deliberately ignored Mu Qingqian's tangled, regretful, and longing eyes and put back the clothes in her hands. Immediately afterwards, but he took out a pair of stockings and put them in front of Mu Qing Qian. Since junior sister Mu is still a little worried about wearing these clothes, why not try this first? Volume 1 Chapter 277 The goddess wears black stockings, and the witch regains her fighting spirit. Seeing her master take out the stockings, Qin Benjao began to recommend enthusiastically, Sister Qing Qian, just give it a try. These stockings are very comfortable and beautiful. Moreover, these stockings are hot now. If you sell products and people of the righteous and evil ways are wearing them, then that's no problem, right? If Sister Qing Qian doesn't want others to see her, then just make her skirt longer and completely cover her up. How about that? Listening to Tan Kinja and Qin Benjao's words, Mu Qing Qian was completely moved. Those clothes are not easy to put on by yourself, but these stockings seem to be fine. After all, the clothes were not directly exposed, and they were the current trend. Therefore, the resistance in Mu Qingqian's heart plummeted. Oh well. Mu Qingqian nodded, picked up the stockings, walked to a deserted place, put them on, and walked out. Seeing Mu Qingqian put on brand new white silk garters, both Tan Qinja and Qin Binjiao felt their eyes light up. Mu Qingqian was already stunningly beautiful. She wore a bright yellow palace dress that made her appear pure, dignified, luxurious, and sacred. Now with the addition of these white silk garters, the white silk stockings added to the sense of purity and sacredness, and the suspenders added to the a touch of pure charm. Coupled with Mu Qingqian's slender legs, aloof, cold and sacred look and temperament, just a pair of stockings actually improved her temperament a lot, making her unexpectedly good-looking. Rubbing the white stockings on her legs, feeling the comfort of the stockings on her body, and looking at the admiring expressions of Tan Qinja and Qin Binjiao, Mu Qing lightly pursed her lips, feeling a hint of joy in her heart. It seems like, the things recommended by senior sister Tan and sister Binjiao are really suitable for me. These stockings are indeed comfortable and beautiful. So, can I try on that outfit? Thinking in his mind, Mu Qingqian felt a trace of desire in his heart. Little did he realize that he was gradually being bribed by the enemy. In another room, faced with the recommendations of the enthusiastic Qin Binjiao and Tan Qinja who had some evil intentions, Dao quickly accepted the clothes and stockings. After all, unlike Mu Qingqian's aloofness and indifference, Tao Yao, as a veritable witch, actually doesn't have that much persistence. As for clothes, you can wear them as long as they look good. Anyway, what you wear is bold enough. I haven't worn them before, I just think these clothes are not bold enough, but since they look good, I might as well give them a try. Then, putting the clothes aside, Tao Yao put on the black silk stockings. How about it? Does it look good? Black stockings wrapped her slender legs. Tao Yao wore a long skirt because of her innocent girl character, showing off her flawless legs. Tao Yao is naturally charming. Even though she is now a pure girl, her every smile and every move still reveals her charm that penetrates her bones inadvertently. There should be some contradiction between glamour and youthful conservative dress, but with this black silk suspender, the black silk already adds a bit of charm and elegance to Tao Yao, and the suspender makes this charm more obvious. Then, at this moment, Tao Yao has a different kind of charming charm. This charm is mixed with the breath of youth, which makes people's hearts flutter at a glance and will never be forgotten again. It looks good and suits you very well. Tan Qinja and Qin Binjiao both gave thumbs up and praised without hesitation. Hey. Tao Yao smiled happily. Just as she was about to pick up the clothes and put them on, her body suddenly stiffened.